The executive order that was passed by the governor requires water districts to reduce their water use by a total of 25%. And based on Culver City's profile and land use, we've been told we need to reduce it by 20%.
Hi, Rudolph Galindo, with Public Works, City of Culver City. In terms of the water drought and water conservation, the city has done a lot of outreach. We've put together a brochure to list some of the restrictions in Culver City and gone out working with code enforcement to put those at doors of residents. We've also put together a website specifically for water conservation, listed resources for the community, sent out emails to draw their attention to the website. The City Council will be considering at their June meeting of this year to increase regulations for the city. Currently, there are ongoing restrictions. There's a level 1, a level 2, and a level 3. The city will be voting to increase to a level 2 in June. With those will include water restrictions for number of days watered. It will include breaks in sprinklers and timely fixing of any water leaks. As an example, the city has also been working on projects to conserve water. One of the projects is to allow lawns to go without water for grass to die and cut down on irrigation. Some of the other examples include the storm drain projects that the city has been working on, as well as rain gardens throughout the city, water barrels to collect water and to conserve. Through these projects, the city is focused on setting an example for the residents of Culver City. The city has also taken a proactive approach and will be working on this upcoming year an ordinance for parkway guidelines. This is for the strip of lawn in front of residences. And with those guidelines, we'll promote and encourage residents to plant drought-tolerant plants to eliminate grass and other elements that would support sustainability and water conservation.
Hi, my name is Marna Johnson. I'm a code enforcement officer with the City of Culver City. So one of the things that I want to talk about is water conservation and code enforcement's role in pretty much enforcing the city's policy. Generally, we receive telephone complaints that can come into our office. We also receive online complaints from our residents as it pertains to households, different single-family residents, to apartment complexes, to businesses that may not be following the city's policy on conserving water. So I know right now our city is at a level 1 watering restriction policy where you have to pretty much water 3 days a week, no more than 15 minutes a day, and it must be before 9 a.m. or after 5 p.m. One of the things about our community is that we have very active homeowners and residents who are really concerned about the water restrictions and conserving water. We have many residents who are literally they're not watering their lawns at this time. They are letting their lawns go dormant. They are letting the grass die, and what they are resulting to is putting in drought tolerant plants or just even dirt landscape. They're very on top of the current situation, and they're very active in letting us know, reporting their neighbors when their neighbors are violating or overwatering. So what we generally do is when we get a complaint, we have notices that we issue. We generally give them a verbal warning initially at first. And so we talk to them, and that we're making people aware that they have to conserve the water. What we keep with us is we have this water conservation pamphlet. It's a handout, little brochure that we actually hand to individuals who may be using their garden hose without the proper shut-off nozzle. So in this document, it gives you facts about our ordinance, and it also gives water conservation tips on how to reduce the amount of water that they're using in order to save, our city. Another thing that we also let them know is if they're watering with garden hoses without the proper nozzle shutoff valves, we will let them know that they have to obtain one, and that way that helps conserve water. They're also limited to watering 15 minutes a day. So we just monitor and we help make people aware. At that point, if there's a person who's violating the water conservation policy, then we will issue a stronger notice to that violator. And in that notice of violation, they are pretty much given 72 hours to immediately correct that violation. So the main concern is broken water sprinklers for the most part, and that they're overwatering and the water is running down the street. Just excessive watering, that's another huge complaint. They're just watering too long, too much, and not during the proper daytime hours. Rarely do we get, folks who just who have any disregard, who disregard the notices and just blatantly violate the municipal code. At that point, if it were to go that far, we would issue a citation and penalties. So our penalties can range anywhere from $100 to $500 for that violation.
The city currently has an app that can be downloaded on smartphones, Culver City Connect, and with the app we've recently added a water waste category where residents can go out, they can snap a photo of any leaks, any water violations, upload it to their phone, and send to code enforcement to be reviewed by our department.
Abraham, I'm an intern for City Hall, and before interning at City Hall, I guess I can say I wasn't as aware about the California drought, but now that I have been interning, I see that the community is taking more action part of trying to prevent the drought, and some of it is by trying to conserve water. City Hall is trying to implement new guidelines to make the community try to preserve and conserve water since it's a valuable resource. Some of the things that we've been working on are rain gardens. It holds water and captures water and allows plants to grow. And we've been changing the plants to more drought tolerant plants.
All right, Culver City right now is developing a master water conservation plan that it's going to include a lot of different elements. What it's going to do is talk about the results of a water audit that the Golden State Water has completed for our various city facilities. What it's indicating is where we've been and where we're going. And specifically, the city's undergone a lot of measures that for its city facilities to save water, but there's still a lot of measures still to be completed. And those include things such as dual stage toilets, waterless urinals, motion sensor faucets at the sinks, and also low flow shower heads. So the plan is going to elaborate on a summary of the audit that was done, as well as include a plan of action of how to implement it. And the city manager's office has assigned $200,000 to implement those measures this following year. In addition, in June, we are asking the City Council to adopt a Level 2 water use restriction plan that will provide businesses and residents, as well as city facilities, guidelines on measures to take to reduce water. The plan is also going to include additional elements to help businesses and residents to achieve that goal. In addition to providing homeowners a gray water capture and reuse system.